Guys, I want to talk a little bit about Hytale with you and why it just feels right. It looks so appealing, at least to me. And I believe that's just because it looks like a fantasy. It is a fantasy game, and they seem to capture it near perfectly. Those of you who have played Minecraft and maybe like fantasy realize Minecraft doesn't really capture the fantasy feel. It's more medieval. It's kind of otherworldly, but not, but also same worldly. It's an interesting mix. And if you want fantasy in Minecraft, you kind of have to make it yourself. This game, just seeing the pictures, it's fantasy. You don't have to do anything. You just load in and boom, you're in a fantasy world. And it just takes you from this one, and it feels so alive with the different NPCs and the lighting, the textures, all of that. And we're going to go into all of that today and catch my audience up to what's going on with my channel, what's going on with this game. And those of you who aren't familiar with the channel, welcome. If you want Hytale content, make sure you subscribe because you'll be getting that. And if you also want tank on tank combat, that's also part of this channel as well. So welcome to all of you. Hytale was picked up by Riot Games, and then Riot Games proceeded to kill the project, and we'll go into more details about that later. However, Hypixel founders reacquired Hytale 6 weeks ago, only a few months after it was canceled in June 2025. Hytale is now independent, back in full production, and returning to its original version. Hytale Early Access begins January 13th, 2026. You can buy it now, but hold up before you buy it. Of course, you can if you want to, but I am currently trying to get a hold of their equivalent of the CC program. I'm in contacts with them, and we might be getting a code soon that you can use when you buy Hytale, which will help me out. You don't have to, of course, but you can if you want. Now, this, what you see in the background, is some PvP between the developers. Simon, who is the head employer here, beating up his employees, which is pretty fun to see. But the noises, the combat, the feel, everything, it just, something about it just feels so right. And we're not just going to look at this video, which we are in the background. We're also going to be looking at some of their blogs and their posts and some more of their pictures. Just a draw bow. This bow, that bow shot, I wish I could see more of that. It felt so satisfying. I don't know. Many of you have probably played War Thunder here on the channel, and when you get a kill in War Thunder, it is so satisfying. The animation that they have, the little thing in the top right corner that shows you the kill, what you did to the crew, whether it was to the crew or to the fuel, maybe the fuel blew up or the ammo rack blew up. It just feels right. That's the same basically with what I'm seeing in this game. Everything about it just feels right and feels satisfying. Getting that kill feels satisfying. Hitting that shot with your arrow feels satisfying. Getting hits with your sword feels satisfying. The noises. Oh, it's a work of art. And look where they are. Look at this forest. It blows away the visuals of Minecraft, in my opinion. Not just the textures, the quality, but the feel. I've got one of the zones here we could take a look at. Let's get some of this music going. This is zone 3, and I'll explain the zones in just a second. It's the icy tundra. Look at that bear in the bottom. Like, the bear, it's personality. This game has personality. If you have children or you like Minecraft, or children who like Minecraft, I think this is the next game. It's not going to be on mobile just yet, but there's potentially plans to get it out to mobile hopefully in the near future. It's not going to be on console just yet either. That might be further down the road. You need a PC at the moment if you want to play Hytale. But again, look at the moon, the lights. Very moddable game as well. It's just got a beautiful presence to it. Fantasy again. Fantasy. And that's what we like to see. Let's take a look at some other things. Like Outlanders. This is a race that exists in Zone 3. And this is what they look like. And they are enemies. It looks like that you have to fight. They've got these cool bases already built. I mean, that's already really cool. This already just beats Minecraft immediately. It's really, really cool. And then you have NPCs. Here's the concept art. This is more whimsical from the first zone. And again, I'll tell you about the zones. Here's some Twerks, they call them. Let's see. Sentries, warriors, chieftains, shamans, hunters, wolf pets. Welcome to fantasy, ladies and gentlemen. And I am big into fantasy. Look at that. Savannah, almost kind of biome. Or zone. Chickens. Ooh. Very nice. Very nice. Look at that. Look at the personality. Graphics. Look at this. That's really cool. The bison. Fantasy. Fantasy, fantasy, fantasy. But yeah, I wanted to show you some of those things. We're not, again, not going into too much. I'm sure you can find plenty of videos on it. I just want to let you know what's going on and give you just a little bit, some glimpses of the game. And then we'll touch on the zones in just a second here. So what are zones and what are biomes? So in Minecraft, you have biomes. You have all these different biomes. You have, let's say, the ocean biome. You have a plains biome. You have a forest biome. You have a savanna biome, and so on and so forth. And you spawn randomly on one of them, or in one of them. And then around you spawn these biomes in random orders, random sequences. You never know. And you might not ever find, let's say, a dark oak forest like you're looking for, because the world doesn't have one for 10,000 blocks in a random direction. And so you might never find it. Hytale's not doing that. Instead, you have zones, and you have 6 of them on a continent. And you have them all there. All 6 zones are going to be on that continent. You know they're there. You can find them. I thought originally they were going to do it kind of like Castle Miner Z, if you've played that game, where you spawn in zone 1, and then the further away you can travel in any direction, north, south, east, or west, and you travel through all of the different zones until you make it to hell. That's Castle Miner Z. I thought they were going to do that here. It doesn't sound like it's going to be like that completely. It is going to kind of be random, but you are going to have access to all the zones on your continent, and then outside of that is going to be an ocean, and then outside of that, this is not going to be on release, but they have plans for it, is an infinite world where it is more random. And so you get your, if you stay on the continent, you have your quest lines, you have, your chances to kill all the bosses and acquire all the gear you want. And if you want an infinite world, you just cross the ocean. Like I said, that's not going to be in the game at release, but it sounds like they are planning that. Those are the zones. There are 6 of them. The first one is kind of more whimsical, feels more like a plains/forest biome on Minecraft, and really has that fantasy feel, that Shire feel, Lord of the Rings feel, and the Fellowship of the Ring, before it starts to get darker and grittier, which is the same here, where the zones get darker and grittier. Very cool. Now let's get into the history a bit about Hytale, and from my perspective, okay? Not from their perspective, but from my perspective, so you understand why I'm so hyped for this game. Back before I did World of Tanks on my channel, and I didn't make World of Tanks content, I only played the game. Back in 2015, before Hytale was even announced, my brother was in cahoots with the Hypixel team. He played Minecraft, and he played with them, some of them from time to time, because he was a Skywars player, and he was one of the top ones, and so he was in cahoots with them and would play with them, some of them. And they had released to him, or announced to him, leaked to him, the fact that they were going to be working on a project soon called Hytale. And he was hyped about it, and he came to me, he's like, you can't tell anyone about this. And so I didn't. I kept it to myself. He said, they're going to be working on a game, and it sounds amazing. It's going to be right up your alley because you like fantasy so much. You're going to absolutely love this. It's Hytale. I was like, oh my goodness, I want to do content on this when he described it to me. And so then I waited years and years and years. Finally, the announcement trailer came out 7 or 8 years ago, and it was like, yes, it's coming. Awesome. Then they wanted the game to be perfect before release, which is okay, that's fine. But games aren't perfect on release. In fact, what makes Minecraft still playable is the fact that it was never finished, and they just keep updating and adding things like, oh, what if we add this? What if we add that? And that keeps the game playable. And so, in my opinion, you don't need the game finished. At least a game like this, a more creative game like this. Instead, just worry about getting it out, worry about listening to your community, and you'll do just fine. And it sounds like they're going to be taking that approach. But Riot Games acquired the game, and they were going to be the ones releasing this game rather than the Hypixel team. Then Riot Games killed it about a year ago, or a little less than a year ago. So sad. They killed it, and I was devastated. They're not going to be coming out with the game. That's too bad. I was really looking forward to it. Then the Hypixel team gets a hold of it again, and they're working on it again, and they are just going to release it. Finally, they are releasing it January 13th, 2026, coming up in just 10 days. We'll be playing it on the channel along with World of Tanks, and I am so stoked for it. And that is because this is a true fantasy game. Fantasy is the key. If you look at best-selling books, fantasy dominates. Everyone seems to like fantasy. Some people don't, but majority of people seem to really like the fantasy element. Tolkien fantasy, C.S. Lewis, stuff like that. And, well, people like Game of Thrones, right? People like The Witcher, people like Minecraft, people like all these things which are fantasy. And so, of course, a fantasy game is going to do well, especially when they really capitalize on fantasy, which seems to be the case here. Now, am I transitioning to Hytale? Will I still be doing World of Tanks content? For now, I will still be doing World of Tanks content, but the truth of the matter is I will be quitting soon. And I don't know how long soon is. Basically, my time frame is kind of when my book officially launches. That will likely be the end of World of Tanks on my channel, because I want to pursue a writing career once I get my book traditionally published. And those of you wondering, yes, the book is fantasy. And so this game is right up that alley. This game I can use to help promote that book, because I'll be attracting an audience that likes fantasy. Right now my audience are war lovers, tank lovers, and I don't know how many of them are going to care about a fantasy book. Again, we're still going to be playing World of Tanks up until I am officially ready to move on to focusing my career on writing. But for now, enjoy the World of Tanks, enjoy Hytale, enjoy War Thunder. I'm working on a War Thunder video as well. These are all things that I wanted to make sure you guys knew about. Hytale was always the plan to have on the channel even before World of Tanks. World of Tanks kind of took the place while I waited for almost 11 years. And that's just how it went. 10 years, actually, more like. But yeah, that is the history from my perspective of Hytale and why I'm quite excited about it. I hope you guys enjoyed. I hope you learned something. If you did, smack that like button, comment, subscribe if you're here for Hytale, subscribe if you're here for Tanks. Content's coming. I'm excited, and I hope to see you guys all later. Thanks for coming by. Take care, and as always, peace out.